Look at these lines very attentively. So what can you say about them? I bet these rows seem to tilt alternately. To tell you the truth, I felt a bit dizzy just looking at them. But in reality, the lines are actually parallel. The pattern of the rows creates this amazing optical illusion. And if you don't believe me, pause the video and check it for yourself. Now, how about these rings? They seem to be rotating, moving in different directions. But in reality, the rings never change their position. The image is still. The only thing that changes is the color of the petals. What you see now is some kind of color context illusion. The circle at the top seems to be darker than the one at the bottom, right? In reality, these circles are the same shade of red. This illusion proves the point that the color of the background can affect how our brain perceives the color of the object itself. Despite what it looks like, this spinning disk's optical illusion is not a GIF. It's a motionless image, even though the snakes appear to be turning right in front of your eyes. This optical illusion works because of how your eyes process an image. They scan it repeatedly, autofocusing and adjusting all the time. Now, I'll tell you about one trick to try out. Focus intensely on one single snake. Voila! All the motion has stopped. The next image for you to marvel at. Even though we already know how this principle works, our eyes keep deceiving us, claiming that the square on the left is much lighter than the one on the right. While in reality, their shades are exactly the same. You can check. Remember, it's all about the background. This is the so-called café wall illusion. The rows in this picture seem to be angled up or down, right? But the horizontal lines are actually all parallel. If you want some proof, pause the video and cover the top and bottom one row of squares with a piece of paper. You'll find no slants. Look at the moment of these short blue and yellow lines. They seem to be moving alternately, just like tiny feet going tip-tap, tip-tap. This effect becomes even more pronounced if you do not look at the feet directly, but stare at the space between them. Well, it's just another optical illusion. In reality, the movement of these short multicolored lines is always simultaneous. Look at this. Is it a short video? It sure looks like one, but once you concentrate, you realize that the snowboarder isn't really moving forward. This illusion involves 4 frames. The first 2 of them are consecutive frames from a video, and the next 2 repeat the first ones, but in the negative. The reason why this illusion works is the simultaneous inversion of contrast and motion direction, which makes us see the snowboarder as moving non-stop. This pattern is stationary, and yet it seems to expand with its central part growing bigger and bigger in front of your eyes. The effect is stronger if you don't look directly at the picture. The most confusing thing here is that not everybody can perceive this illusion, and no expert has understood why it's so yet. Here is a rotating array that consists of blue crosses and 3 yellow dots. Try to focus on the center, on that flashing red-green spot. It's magic. The yellow spots disappear every once in a while. They do it one by one, in pairs, or all 3 simultaneously, right? Well, not really. It's just an illusion. In reality, the 3 yellow spots are present all the time. Believe me. Look at this rotating thingy. It seems to be a 3D object like a spinning top, but in reality, it's just an optical illusion created by the rotation of certain figures. You might not get this 3D vibe from the very beginning. If so, try to imagine a rotating crater. It may help. In this image, we see railroad tracks and 2 yellow lines. The one at the top is definitely longer than the one at the bottom, but once you look more closely, you'll realize that both lines are the exact same length. This illusion is based on our perception. We tend to see this image with a linear perspective, and it makes the top yellow line look longer than the one at the bottom. When we look at this optical illusion, it seems like the background pattern is spinning around in a circle. In reality, both the background and the circle are staying completely still, but the effect is kinda hypnotizing. This next illusion is kinda cool. even though not all people can see it at first sight. Follow the red dot with your gaze. Keep in mind that rotating your head might help you here. You'll see that some of the squares in the background start shifting. Of course, in reality, they all remain still. The effect might be fleeting for you. Sometimes strong, sometimes missing. In any case, all the motion here, apart from the moving red dot, is absolutely illusory. Look at this image. Are you sure the circles aren't moving? Indeed, they seem to be rippling in a wave-like motion. It happens because of a lag in the way we process visual information. When your eyes move from one part of this image to another, it causes your brain to think there is movement. Uh-oh, it looks like our smarts are being tested. Honestly, this next optical illusion has left me dazed and slightly confused. Look at it. The colors seem to be swirling around, right? But it's a still image, and the effect is created by the combination of the patterns and colors. To read a secret message hidden in this image, try to lose your focus a bit. To do it, you might want to go a little cross-eyed or squint. Aha! The secret message is hide and seek. But if you take a closer look, the words will disappear from sight altogether. Look at this rotating image. The wheel defined by the dark bright sectors is rotating clockwise, and the spokes are rotating counterclockwise, right? Now concentrate on the image using your steadiest gaze. The spokes actually stay put. This image is pretty confusing too. Can you tell if the smallest point of this black and white illusion is sticking out or pointing in? Well, the contrasting lines don't let us figure it out, so it's anyone's guess. One more optical illusion to question your perception of space. Can you figure out which of these windows is larger? At first sight, it looks like the one on the right is way bigger than the other one. But they're actually not only the exact same size, but their tops and bottoms are also directly in line with each other. Amazing! As soon as you look at the next image, the 4 diamonds pop right out. Interestingly, there's not a single line creating those shapes. It's just the contrast between the black and white that makes your brain assume that the lines exist. Some of the trickiest optical illusions can surely make your head spin. For example, take this one. On the left, the red squares seem to be warped and crooked. But on the right, where all this bizarre arrangement of black and white lines has faded to almost nothing, we see that the red squares are as straight and, well, square as they can be. This one might be the coolest illusion of them all. Look at these towers. Is one of them leaning more than the other? I mean, of course, it's the one on the right. Duh! It certainly looks like it, but no. The two pictures are identical. It's the way they're positioned next to each other that makes the right one appear steeper. Now, look at this image. Can you believe that the lines that make up these squares are completely straight? Yep, exactly. All of them, even the ones in the middle. The placement of the miniature squares within the squares makes the lines look curved.
Hey, how about we create your psychological portrait using optical illusions? You game? The rules are simple. Just remember the first thing you saw in the picture. Now, if you see a horse in this picture, you're a very valuable friend. You have excellent communication skills, and you're very confident and reliable. But if the first thing you saw here is the horse's head, it may mean you're critical of everything, and the opinion of others can't throw you off the path. The next illusion. Those who saw a crocodile here love a quiet life and don't like to open up to something new. But if you saw a boat, you're more creative than other people and pay attention to small details. Those who see a young woman here have an analytical mind and use their left brain more. If you see an old man, you're likely to be a very gentle and sensitive person who can be very empathetic to other people. You're more creative and you use the right side of your brain. The white pillars in the picture mean you like comfort and safety. But you should leave the comfort zone to gain more experience and achieve something new. But if the first thing you see is the silhouettes of 2 men, then you're the kind of person who doesn't sit in place and is ready to move constantly. Are these flowers or a woman's face? If it's flowers for you, then you appreciate the world you live in and just love nature. And if the first thing to draw your eye was a woman's face, then you have a great ability to highlight details from the environment that will help you to make the right decision. If an orange explosion is painted for you here, you have incredible leadership qualities. But if the first thing you see in this picture is black fingers, then you're a very compassionate, generous, and kind person. Hey, did you see two faces here? You're an extrovert. You're social, and you're constantly thinking about other people. But you also get influenced easily, so try to surround yourself only with good people. But if you see a candlestick here, you're the exact opposite. You think more about yourself than about other people, and you like to sit at home rather than having noisy parties with a bunch of people. Ooh, this one is scary. If you see a skull here, it means it's hard for you to make decisions and move forward. But you need to find the courage and overcome the circumstances. It's the only way for you to become stronger. And if you see a woman, you're probably feeling like a squeezed lemon, both emotionally and physically. Perhaps you have just ended a difficult period in your life. In any case, stay on the bright side. Now, if you see trees here, you must be an ambitious person who loves to bring everything to perfection. If you saw the roots at the first moment, it means you're a progressive person who strives for improvement. If the whole picture looked like dark lips to you, then you're a person who doesn't like to go deep into something and study too much. Hey, were those chocolate lips? Now, what do we have here? Is it a river and a cliff? Then you're an optimist who adapts easily to the changes in life. But if the first thing you see is a white cat, then you like stability, and you're in an emotional and mental balance. And you're a cat lover, of course. And if you see a face here, then you're a very creative person. You see a new opportunity in every detail of the world, and you're very curious. Whoa, is this an explosion? Then you're easily scared. You often feel fear of something new and unknown. You may even be in conflict with yourself. But if you see a passionate kiss in the smoke, then you value relationships and family the most in life. This is the highest priority for you. Ooh, cute bears. If you saw them first, then you can easily solve problems. You see a picture from far away, notice all the details, and can find the best solution. But if for you this picture is a mountain landscape, then you are a more intuitive person. You're guided by your sixth sense when decision-making. Are you a realist? If you saw a big blue cat here, then yes, you don't have much fantasy, but you see the world as it is, and it helps you make plans on how to conquer it. If a little mouse hits your eyes first, you can see the positive even in the worst-case scenario. For you, the glass is always half full. The next illusion. If you see a girl at the window, then be careful. This may suggest that you expect something unpleasant to happen, and you're also probably an impulsive person. If you see a skull here, then you're pessimistic. Your friends may call you a cynic, but you consider yourself a realist. Creativity against analytics? What do you see? If the red saxophonist is the first thing you see, then you are a person who likes to systematize and analyze information. You must be good at math and foreign languages. And if you see a portrait of a woman here, then you're an emotional and creative person. Is it a bird? Then you're a daydreamer, though a little absent-minded. But you strive to make the world a better place and invent ways to do so. And if there's a big face of a lion here, then you're a very brave person who's ready to face their insecurities and come out the winner of any fight. And here we have crocodiles? Then maybe you like to be in charge and manage your life. Orders from other people make you suffer because you're a natural leader. If you see a bird in the middle, you're ready to help others. You're reliable and friendly. Okay, if the first thing you see here is a car, then you're a person who appreciates their freedom. You like to break away on an unexpected journey, meet new people, and see new places. If you saw a person with binoculars, it means you have an analytical type of thinking, and you like to look at things from afar, often missing small details. And although you can absorb a lot of visual information, you should focus on the smaller things too. If you saw the letter A, then congratulations! You have a very sharp vision, just like an eagle. So hey, you can dive on a salmon. And you have well-developed intuition. Oh, this one is harder. If you're a girl and you've seen a man's face here, then either you're looking for a partner or your current partner is a priority in your life and you feel a strong emotional connection with him. But if you see a woman's face, then you feel comfortable and self-sufficient. Guys who saw a man's face are concerned about relationships with other men, whether they are colleagues, friends, or even other guys in the gym. And if you see a female face, you're looking for your love. But take your time, or else you may push too hard. This is a test for Super Sherlock. Of course, it's two squirrels, right? Well, that means you're pretty lazy, and you don't get too much into details. Now, tilt your head a little to the left. Now you can see a woman's face. But if that's what you saw from the beginning, then you're an incredibly attentive person who can get along well with other people. And now we will determine your psychological age. If the first thing you saw was old people's faces, then you have already lived a long and colorful life. You definitely have something to remember. But if you see a young couple sitting next to each other, then you're young and all the fun is waiting for you. Now, be ready to give a quick answer. Remember what you see first. Let's go! If you notice a smiling face, you're an optimist. If it's the opened book, you're smart and have a well-developed intuition. If it was roses, you're calm and kind. The tilted cross means that you're faithful. Balloons mean cheerfulness and good imagination. If the first thing you saw was a heart, then you're gentle and affectionate. The lion's face means that you're fearless. And if at first you noticed the tie, you're determined and diligent. Oh, and if you saw the ice cream cone, then it's time for an eye exam, because there wasn't one in the picture.
You'll have 10 seconds for each of the optical illusions. Your task will be to read the hidden number. You'll go from the easiest to the hardest riddles. Start off with an easy one for warm-up. Told you, it's 784. Moving on. I hope you were able to see the number 5346 here. Level up. How about this one? The correct answer is 725. And another one. Yes, it's 786. Now, only 5% of people can read the next three numbers. Want to give it a go? If your answer is 6012, it's correct. And here's another tricky one. It's 182. And if you saw it, you must have eagle vision. Told you it won't be easy, but try this one. The correct answer is 3708. Let's see how you handle some black and white illusions. And the first one is hiding the number 476. There you go. If that was too simple, how about this one? I hope you guessed it was 86347. And now, let's test your eyes with some hidden words. You still have 10 seconds for each of them. I'm sure you figured out it's the word never. Can you read what this picture says? I can't sleep. How sad. This one is hiding the name of some month. You have to think outside the box to read it. Feel free to pause the video if you need more time. Well, the secret was to split it in half. Then you can see it's July. How about this one? It's the word run hiding in the back. Another one for you. Hope you found the gold. Here comes a tricky one. It takes some brain power to see its brain. Another one in this category. It's only getting more complicated. If you read the word music between the lines, you must be a genius. Now let's see if you can decipher these secret messages. I give you 10 seconds for this one. Well, if someone says it's just a bunch of letters without meaning, you can easily prove them wrong. What do you see here? The power of imagination makes us infinite. Couldn't agree more. Here's another one. I hope you always desire to learn something useful. You deserve some dessert for all that mental activity. Here's just one cupcake among all those ice cream cones. Try to find it. There it is. Yum. Get a tomato to go. I can only see a bunch of apples, but maybe you'll be luckier here. Found it! There's a butterfly hiding somewhere among those flowers. Do you see it? Fantastic! It's right there. Can you find the one and only pineapple in this image? Great job! One of these colorful leaves is in fact a mushroom. Can you spot it? Well done! How about a safari to give your eyes another test? Do you see anyone hiding in these leaves? Yep, it's a chameleon. And those guys know how to blend with the surroundings. There must be a groundhog hiding somewhere in the rocks. Find it in 10 seconds. Wow, that was neat. One coyote won't do you much harm, but if it brings some friends, better make sure this area is coyote-free. Start looking for a different picnic spot. One of those guys is right here. Watch where you step. I hear there are snakes on the ground. Found one. Better be careful. I don't see anyone roaming in this territory. Let's see if you have sharper eyes. What a beautiful gazelle. Did you manage to find it? The next illusion was created back in 1860. It shows how your brain perceives depth and shapes. So, do you think the black line lines up with the blue one? If you answered yes, you're wrong. In fact, the black line stems from the red line. Now, take a look at these illusions and remember what you see first. It can tell a lot about your personality. If it looks like a mountain to you, you're a down-to-earth person. You're persistent, reliable, and like to plan things. Overcoming obstacles makes you feel really happy. You appreciate stability and don't like to take risks. If you saw the upside-down wolf first, you're a natural leader. You keep your emotions under control even in the most stressful situations. Others admire and respect you for that. Remember, it's okay to ask for help sometimes if you need it. How about this one? If lips caught your eye first, you're realistic and always take things the way they are. You don't look for hidden meaning in what happens to you and what others say to you. It helps you get along with people well. If you notice the trees first, you're an ambitious person and a perfectionist to the core. You're never happy with just okay, and will always strive to be number one and make yourself and others happy. In the case the first thing you saw was the roots, you're an extremely progressive person. You love trying all the new technology and styles. You never settle and always try to make your life better and more exciting. Here comes the next one. If it looks like a parrot to you, you're the soul of any party. You like to be the center of attention, wear something bright, talk loudly, and laugh your heart out. You have plenty of friends who love that about you. If you see a girl in a beautiful long dress, you must be the mysterious artsy type. You prefer to observe others being active and loud and get inspiration for your work. You notice little details and remember them to later put them on your canvas or paper. You have 10 seconds to decide what you see in this illusion here. If it's clearly an image of an elephant and a giraffe, you're a reliable and hardworking person. You feel responsible for yourself and your work and don't like to let others down. People appreciate you for that and share their secrets with you. If you saw some rabbits between the trees, you're not as simple as you might seem. You always think before you say or do something. You have a strategy for every life situation. It's important to you to be accepted and loved by others, so you do a lot to please them. New illusion, same task. If you see just two horses crossing a waterfall, you're an adventurous person. When someone offers trying something new or going to a new place, you're always up for it. You realize you might not like it in the end, but you'd rather try it and be sad than regret not going. In case you noticed several faces first, you always see the big picture and can find the right decision quickly. You know what you want and how to get there and never reconsider your own choices. These qualities will take you far in your career. Moving on. What a beautiful landscape, but is it hiding something? If all you see here is some sea and rocks, you're a calm and balanced person. Sometimes you're in a bad mood, but you always look on the bright side of life and move on. If you also noticed some animals drawn on the rocks, you have a great eye for detail. You always listen to both parties in a conflict before taking sides. You like doing research and drawing logical conclusions. Alright, what does this one say to you? In case you're positive it's a portrait of a young girl, you're an extrovert and can't survive a day without people. You're active on social media and enjoy going to social events where you can make even more friends. If you see some horses and birds, you're more of an introvert. You love being alone outside. You have some great friends, but you appreciate your personal space. Those who see the face and the horses at once, you've got the best of both worlds. You feel comfortable at a party with a few hundred new people around and alone reading a book. What can you say about this illusion? Those who see a face of a woman, you're realistic and pretty content with your life. You don't expect too much from others and are ready to stand your ground if you have to. If you see a saxophone player, you often prefer your imaginary world to the real one. In your dreams, you have turned your favorite hobby into a career. Try doing that in real life. What are your thoughts on this one? If it's clearly an older man to you, you've always been wiser and more reasonable than others your age. That's why people often ask you for advice, and you enjoy helping them out. If you see a young girl and an older man in the arch, you'll always be a child at heart. Your family means the world to you, and you always ask them for advice and protection.
Wow, you'll have 5 seconds for each of the illusions. Get ready for your mind to be bent. Can you tell which of the 2 yellow lines is longer? Seems obvious to me. Oh wow, I was wrong. None of them is longer. They are exactly the same length. This is a Ponzo illusion, not a Ponzi scheme. Your brain judges an object's size based on its background. Here, your brain decides the upper line that's further away has to be longer to catch up with the line that's closer. Here's another one for you. Do you think these lines are parallel to each other? Yep, they perfectly are. Again, your brain judges them based on their surroundings. All those short intersecting lines make you believe the longer lines are messed up. What about the red lines in this image? Are they straight or curved? This is the herring illusion. The seemingly curved lines are perfectly straight and parallel to each other. The background makes you think otherwise. How many colors can you see here? Did you get red, purple, and green? In that case, you're all wrong. If you zoom in on this illustration, you can see all the spheres are of the same color. The stripes in the foreground make you believe the spheres are of different colors too. If you remove that foreground from the image, you'll see all the spheres are beige. Welcome to Ames' room. Nothing is impossible here. Which of these two people do you think is larger? An Ames room only seems to be a normal rectangular construction. It has slanted walls and an inclining ceiling and floor. The right corner is closer to you than the left corner. Your brain is used to rectangular rooms, so it corrects the image for you. The room seems normal, and the people inside seem weird. How many prongs do you think this trident has? The correct number is 3. Nah, just kidding. That would be too obvious. The empty space between the prisms forms the central prong. Take a closer look at the top of the prongs. There are just 2 openings. Can you tell what animal is hiding here? The secret here is to shake your head back and forth, or you can zoom out on the image. When you see the tiny version of it, it's obvious there's a cat hiding behind all those lines. Now, focus on one point of this image for at least 15 seconds. Don't think of anything else, just keep looking. Can you see the image disappearing? It happens because the neurons in your brain filter information. They decide what's essential and what's useless. When you focus on one point, your brain receives no new information. Your peripheral vision takes new data from the surrounding white background and adapts the graphic to it. Here's the next illusion for you. Can you tell if the circles are moving or standing still? This image isn't animated. It's an example of a peripheral drift illusion that makes you see still images as moving ones. When you stare at one part of the image without blinking, that part stops moving. Can you count all the black dots in this image? Three, 4, 6? There are 12 of them, but you can't see them all at once. That's because your peripheral vision fails you at tasks like this. What do you see in this image? If you're sure there are some lines and a light blue circle in the middle, you're wrong. The background is entirely white. You see the non-existent light blue circle because your brain adds color into the bare negative spaces. What about this one? What colors are these funky shapes? Just like in the previous illusion, they're all empty and white. That's a watercolor illusion. Your brain fills in the shape that has a bright line and a darker line at its borders with a brighter color. Now, can you tell if this image is 3D? It's perfectly flat. The white shade in the middle creates the bulge effect. If you move closer, you'll notice it spread its luminance. The task here is simple. Follow this spiral from the beginning to the end. Gotcha! You can't do it, because this spiral isn't a spiral. It's made up of concentric circles. Your brain fills in the gaps for you, because it's confused by this crazy background. Can you tell which rectangles are darker? Believe it or not, the rectangles under columns A and B are the exact same color. The surrounding black and white bars make you believe column A is way darker. Can you find the right shadow for this fun couple? No, it's this one. Only one of the locks is unlocked. Can you spot it in 5 seconds? Good job! This drawing is missing one piece. Pick the right one out of the 3 possible options. Well done! There's a little mouse hiding somewhere between the mushrooms. Your task is to find it. There it is, cute little thing. One of these jellyfish can't swim because it's an air balloon. Can you see it? Well, it does look a lot like a jellyfish. What's that chirping? All birds but one are having a chat. One of them doesn't speak their language. It's a snail right here. I'd love to have some coffee. Please help me find it. Yay, it was hiding here all the time. All penguins look alike, but one is more special than the others. Can you spot it? This little guy right here has slightly different eyes. Let's take it one level up. Can you find the odd one out here? You could be a detective with your sharp eyes. One of these plants is slightly different from the others. You have 5 seconds to find it. Here it is. All these moons must produce a lot of light. Pick the odd one out. I knew it. How about a little safari? The zebra on the right is different from its pal on the left in 5 ways. Can you name them all? I only found 3 differences. Oh, now I see. How about these lions? Again, there are 5 not-so-obvious differences between them. Did you get them all? What about these antelopes? Oh, I didn't see the red nose. What a beautiful and peaceful landscape. It's different from the one on the left in 5 ways. Name them all. Well done! Here are 2 scenes from a busy city life for you. The task remains the same. I only managed to find 3 differences here. Let's go see some waterfalls. Something is wrong with the second image. I got it. What about you? The fall is my favorite season. Can you notice 5 ways these pictures don't match? Fantastic! It's beach time, but you can't relax until you find 5 differences here. Well, enjoy your well-deserved rest. All right, enough. Moving on. What you see in the next images can tell a lot about your personality. Let's start with this one. If it's a woman reading a book to you, you're a practical and goal-oriented person. You work a lot. You're great at planning and know how to keep your emotions under control. Those who notice Salvador Dali's face, first of all, are artists at heart. Even if your job doesn't have to do with creativity, you find your own ways to express yourself through drawing, writing, or music. If you noticed an armchair first, you never look for easy and obvious solutions in your life. You always surprise everyone else with your unique vision of the world. How about this one? What do you see here? If they're women with umbrellas to you, you've plenty of friends because you're open-minded and mix with new people easily. You enjoy spending time surrounded by others and share everything with them. If it's a sad man's face to you, you're wise beyond your years. Sometimes you need to stop and think about life. At these moments, you prefer to be alone. You don't have that many friends, but you're loyal and always ready to help them. All right, what can you say about this image? If it's a man sitting down by the water to you, you must be smart and careful with what you do and what you say. You always think twice before making an important decision and rarely regret anything you've done. If you see a face here, you're more emotional than rational. You'll always pick a new and unknown path and never think for too long when you have to make a decision. It's easy to make you cry or smile, but you get over things quickly as well. Here's another illusion for you. If it looks like a couple of playful squirrels to you, you must be a natural explorer. You don't feel happy staying in one place and are always the first to try new things and visit new places. You're active, charismatic, and fun to be around. If you clearly see a woman's face here, you prefer to stick to the plan and don't like surprises. You're a natural leader and great at delegating tasks to others. They respect you and follow your lead. What about this one? If it looks like a lifeless forested area to you, you're most likely better at sciences than at arts. You can fix any gadget or at least carefully follow the instructions to one of those. Your mind is a well-organized chamber. If you instantly saw animals here, you must be into arts and creativity. You don't even know manuals exist. You like to live in the moment and always listen to your heart.
Get ready for a new set of absolutely amazing optical illusions. Concentrate hard and don't let them trick you. Number 1. Look at these circles attentively, and you'll notice they're rotating. But that's just an illusion. The circles are completely still. Number 2. Which is bigger, the hat's height or its width? They're absolutely the same. Your eyes are playing tricks on you. Number 3. Which tower is leaning more? Ha! Look at that, they're the same. Even though one tower seems to be lopsided when placed next to a copy of itself, this is called the leaning tower illusion. Number 4. How many colors do you see in this image? However many you might see, in reality, there are only 3. Number 5. The patterns in this picture seem to be moving. But once you focus on one of the ovals, the whole image becomes still. Number 6. What do you see in this picture? A moving star? Well, the star part is correct, but in reality, it's a static image. Once again, if you concentrate on any of its parts, the picture will stop moving. Number 7. It seems as if there are 3 cylinders in this image, and they're all rotating. But you know what to do. Stare at the center of the picture and all the movement will stop. Number 8. Which pencil is longer? They are of the same length. Number 9. Can you find 3 animals in this picture? Three bunnies are hiding in the tree branches. Number 10. Look at this rotating thingy. There's no doubt it's a 3D image, but in reality, it's just a set of rotating figures that creates such a 3-dimensional effect. Number 11. Look at the screen and move your head forward and backward while focusing on the center of the image. When you come closer, the lines will seem to rotate counterclockwise. As soon as you start to move away from the image, the lines will rotate clockwise. Number 12. There is something hidden in this grid. Can you figure out what it is? If you can't spot it, try to shake your head, move further from the screen, or screw up your eyes. And just in case it hasn't helped either, let me make the grid less bright. Here we go. A lovely kitty. Number 14. Can you figure out which word is hidden here? That's bedside. Number 15. Look at this image and say which string is tied to the banana. I was almost sure it was string number 2, but in fact, that's the third one. Number 16. Which word is brighter? If you remove the grid, it'll become obvious that both words are of the same color. Number 17. Each horizontal band seems to be lighter in the middle and darker near the boundaries. But in reality, all of them are of a uniform shade. Number 18. Which line is longer, A or B? They're both of the same length. This illusion is created because your mind perceives this image in 3D space. That's why your brain tells you that the line which is closer to you must be shorter than the more distant one. Number 19. Are the woman's eyes of the same color? In fact, they are. You can make sure of it by comparing the color of her eyes and the hair accessory. Number 20. At first sight, it's just a red fan rotating over a bright green background. But try to concentrate on the black dot in the middle. You'll notice that the green under the fan is brighter than that of the surrounding ring. And the fan blades are actually redder than the central disc. Number 21. These two discs are pulsating, changing between dark and light. But are they doing it at the same time? Keep watching, and you'll see that it depends on the background. When it's light, the discs pulsate in sync. But when one part of the background is light and the other is dark, the discs seem to pulse not simultaneously. Number 22. Which word is hidden in this image? That's the word quality. Number 23. Which creature has a longer mouth, yellow or green? Their mouths are of the same length. Number 24. How about this picture? Which word does it hide? High five if you spotted the word quite. Number 25. That's how a set of simple straight lines can trick your brain. The square made up of vertical lines looks wider and shorter than the one formed of horizontal lines. Number 26. Look at this pyramid made of elongated diamonds. Are these diamonds darker at the top or at the bottom of the pyramid? All diamonds are identical, even though it surely doesn't look like that. But once we start moving around them, this way, and comparing them with one another, it becomes obvious. Number 27. Find 3 animals hidden in this image. Right you are. There are 3 foxes over there in the tree. Number 28. Look at the wheel moving behind the red picket fence. Its spokes seem to be bent at the bottom. There's nothing wrong with the wheel, and the spokes are perfectly straight. Want to make sure? Look, the fence is becoming transparent. Here you go. Number 29. Now, this wheel seems to be rotating clockwise, and the spokes are moving counterclockwise. But if you look at one of the spokes attentively, you'll notice it's actually staying in one place. Or rather, it makes a tiny shift forward and then returns to its place. Number 30. Which word is hidden in this image? It's feather. Number 31. What do you see in this picture? There's no definite answer here. Some people notice footprints, others, 5 bowling pins. Number 32. How about this picture? Are those 3 pairs of alternating grooves and ridges? Or maybe you see 3 shiny oval tubes. The main trick is that the right side of the image looks like a folded surface and the left resembles the tubes. Number 33. Which word do you see here? It's the word change. Number 34. Look at the blue lines. They seem to be moving in pairs. And how about now? They suddenly form an outline of a diamond. Number 35. These wooden railroad tracks seem to be different in size. The lower one looks larger than the one at the top, but if we switch them, it becomes obvious that they're identical in size. Number 36. Do these horizontal lines seem parallel to you? And what if I tell you they are, and what you see is just an illusion? Number 37. Try to figure out which line is longer here. If your answer is, "Come on, I know they're of the same length," you're absolutely right. Number 38. Can you see anything unusual in this picture? There's a Dalmatian hiding here. Number 39. There seems to be a bulge in the middle of this checkerboard. But in reality, this checkerboard is regular, and each of its checks is perfectly square. You'll see it once we remove the tiny black and white ticks. Number 40. The blue horizontal stripes in this picture can't be parallel, right? But if we remove all the additional elements, it'll become apparent that the lines are not oblique.
They say seeing is believing, but is it really so? Optical illusions have a mind-boggling way to trick our brains. They use a combination of colors, light, or particular patterns that can make us see things that aren't there. Today, we're taking our brains for a test drive to see how these illusions work. If you look at this image attentively, you'll notice a moving square that appears to be changing tones. What shades do you see? Dark, then light, then dark again? Wrong. The square doesn't change color at all. The creator of this illusion is a Japanese psychologist and artist, Akiyoshi Kitaoka. According to him, you can see your own brain changing its guess about the color of the square. Color is already an illusion created by our brains. It happens so that the color is created inside our visual systems. What our eyes perceive as blue is actually a wavelength that is reflected as that color. Neuroscientists say that about 50% of our brain is involved in the vision process. Visual signals are dispersed to more than 30 areas of our brain. Each area has a special function to process color, motion, depth, and form. All this information is combined, and voila! We can distinguish shape and color. Funnily enough, neuroscientists still don't understand the details of how all this happens, and neither do we, but we sure give it a try. Moving on, let's take a look at this staircase. It looks pretty simple, right? Well, now let's flip the image upside down. It still looks like a staircase, but instead of going from right to left, it looks like it's going from left to right. But don't blink. If you blink, the illusion will disappear and you will be left with the original image. Whoa, I think my brain just got really tired. This illusion is known as Schroeder's staircase, and it was invented by a German scientist, Heinrich Schroeder, back in 1858. It's really simple, yet it reveals a fundamental mechanism of how our brain works. Let's understand why. If you sorta disassemble the staircase, you'll notice that the image is flat. What our brain perceives as a 3D image is just a combination of shadow and light. This means that the 3D itself is already an optical illusion. This happens because our brain captures images and tries to fit them into what it already knows. So it sees a shadow in a 2D image and it understands depth. Basically, it creates an unreal perspective of the object in front of our eyes. In this case, we call it a three-dimensional perspective. In 2020, Japanese mathematician Kokichi Sugihara took this illusion one step further. Let's take a look. At first glance, it looks just like a regular staircase. Again. But now, let's place an object at the top of the staircase and flip it at a 100-degree angle. I can't believe my eyes with this one. The object that appeared to be on top suddenly looks like it's at the bottom of the staircase. No wonder this work won Best Illusion of 2020. According to Sugihara, with this illusion, we are literally witnessing the way our brain tricks us into perceiving unreal things. At the heart of the illusion is a simple trick. The stairs aren't really stairs. They continue to be a flat 2D surface, making clever use of angles and shading to trick our brains. The 2D image was printed and glued into a basic 3D structure, but there is no real depth in the stairs, just the illusion of it. Got it? Look at this image for a moment and tell me how many bars you can count. This illusion has left the internet baffled. People have counted as many as 11 bars, but most count about 7 to 8 bars. According to the creator of this image, there are only 6 complete bars. Try counting from top to bottom and you'll notice that the upper bars are real. But by the time you get to the 6th bar, things start to get blurry and confusing. That's because the last 2 bars are incomplete, so when you try to count them, they appear to multiply and only leave you more confused. If you trace your pointer down the 7th and 8th bar, you'll be able to see that they are incomplete. They were only put there to confuse you. Can you tell if the dark blue lines are parallel to each other or whether they're inclined? They sure look crooked, but in reality, they're not. This classical optical illusion was first described over 100 years ago, but it wasn't until the 1970s that it got its current name. The café wall illusion. A guy named Steve Simpson noticed a similar effect on the wall of a cafe in Bristol, and here we are. Now, let's see how this works. First, let's blur the image a little bit. Oh, a little bit more. There you go. This way, you'll be able to see that the dark blue lines are parallel to each other. If you look closely, the little black and white bricks at the intersection of wide lines are what made this illusion possible. In addition to that, the curved elements inside the blue lines help to make the elusive effect even stronger. We'll understand why in a little bit. Up next, look at this black square, crisscrossed with perpendicular white lines. If you look attentively, you'll notice that the white dots situated at the intersection of the grid shift their color from white to gray and black. When you concentrate on a particular dot, you'll see that it's white, but as soon as your attention wanders, the dot turns gray. That's the Hermann grid illusion. Amazing, isn't it? We can take this illusion one step further by positioning white dots at the intersection of gray lines. All of them are placed on top of the black background. If you look at this image for long enough, you'll notice black dots starting to pop up at the intersections of the grid, creating a scintillating effect. Another name for this illusion is a simultaneous light contrast illusion. As you perceive the dots as white at one moment, and then, almost immediately, you see them as black. So, why do our senses let us down by making us see gray or black instead of white? This illusion demonstrates one of the most important principles of human perception. You don't always see things for what they really are. The retinal cells in our eyes act as light receptors. When only one cell receptor gets illuminated, it perceives more light than when its colleagues are also illuminated. This prevents the firing of nearby receptors. With the Hermann grid illusion, the white lines are arranged in such a way that there's more light around the intersections than along the lines themselves. Thus, the dots at the intersections are more inhibited, and you see darker spots. This next illusion is called the Pac-Man chaser. You'll see why. Stare at the central cross for 5 seconds. The image appears to be in motion, doesn't it? And you might also see a green disc appear in between the lilac spheres from time to time. Now, this image allows us to witness two illusions simultaneously. Even though the image appears to be in continuous motion, nothing here is moving. We promise. This phenomenon is known as the phi phenomenon. It happens when stationary objects are placed side by side and illuminated rapidly one after the other, creating an illusion of movement. Now look at the center of the image again. Can you see the green disc? This illusion is called an afterimage, and this happens when your brain tries to substitute an item with something else as the original item disappears. But why is it green, you might ask? That's because green is lilac's complementary color. If we were to change the color of the disc to blue, then the color of the gap changes to yellow, which is blue's complementary color. Neat, right? Hey there! Are you ready to get your mind blown by some absolutely stunning optical illusions? Or do you want to check how easily your mind can get tricked? Then watch our 11 optical illusions and let me know which impressed you the most. So here's the first one. Look at it attentively. What do you see here? Most people are sure they're looking at a 3D sphere on a patterned monochrome background. Or maybe you even feel that the ball is suspended in the air in front of some flat surface. In reality, this is a 2D image. The illusion occurs because of how the elements of the pattern are placed. Another 3D image, which is actually totally flat. I don't know about you, but it seems to me that I'm looking at sand dunes colored in a dazzle of zebras. But no, this effect occurs thanks to the different thickness and position of the stripes. Now, look at this picture. Don't take your eyes off of it even for a moment. See? The circles are moving. It's a popular motion illusion. One of the coolest things about it is that it grinds to a halt if you look at only one part of the image. Try it out. And if you start looking around, it begins to move again. Is it magic? These circles might look simple and unassuming at first, but try moving your head back and forth while keeping your focus on the dot in the center of the image. Do you see that the circles formed by the rhombi start to rotate? When you're tilting your head towards the screen, they move in one direction. When you get farther from the image, they move in the opposite direction. And isn't that cool? How about something even more baffling? Look at this image. This grating is moving vertically, right? Not really. It's moving diagonally. This illusion occurs when a diagonally striped pole rotates horizontally around its vertical axis. To the viewer, it appears as though the stripes are moving downward rather than around the pole. Why so? Because you see the pole through a vertical window, which provides you with very little information about what's actually happening to it. Look at this beauty! Doesn't this kinetic illusion make you feel as if the image is both streaming, shimmering, and moving all at the same time? But the picture is actually a bunch of lines of the same color coming from the common center. The next illusion you're going to see is beautiful. The longer you look at the picture, the less static it seems. The image appears to be rotating, even though it's actually not moving, not even a bit. This illusion occurs as a result of your eyes reacting to the size variations of the circles and interacting color contrasts. Wow, isn't this image bright and pretty? But don't stare at it for too long. It can give you a slight headache and make your eyes hurt. Anyway, now that I've warned you, doesn't it seem to you that all these rings are rotating in opposite directions? I know this effect is extremely strong, but I promise it's not an animated GIF. It's a perfectly still image, but the design and colors make it look as if the rings are moving. Hey, look at this 3D purple landscape. Isn't it charming? The only problem is that, I bet you've already guessed, this is not a 3D image. It's the unusual bright pattern that creates this illusion. Here's another 3D illusion. This time, it's a checkerboard that seems to be bulging. Look at it attentively. The squares are perfectly straight. Their borderlines are parallel and perpendicular, but your brain insists this image is domed. The explanation is connected with the dots. They don't actually touch the borders of the squares. There's always a narrow margin, but your brain interprets those margins like lines, which messes up with your perception. And instead of the right angles, some of them seem acute while others appear obtuse. In this image, all of the edges are either vertical, horizontal, or at a 45-degree angle. But does it seem this way to you? I bet your answer is no. And there's one more thing you can do with this image to make it even cooler. Pause this video so that the image is static and move your scroll bar up and down. It'll appear that the illusion also has some element of motion to it. Awesome! Now, how about we try to figure out what makes it possible for optical illusions to trick our mind? I mean, you know 100% that what your eyes are telling your brain is wrong, but you just can't make yourself stop seeing it. Scientists are sure that sometimes our brain may unconsciously bend our perception of the world to meet our expectations. It fills in the gaps using your past experiences. In other words, it's not your eyes that play tricks on you. It's the way your brain interprets the image sent by the eyes. As an expert said, an optical illusion is a mismatch between the visual impression of the actual properties of the object. Anyway, my favorite illusion is the one with bright rotating circles. What about you? Share your opinion in the comments.
How many shades of gray can you count in this bar? The correct answer is 11. Nah, just kidding. The bar in the middle is one constant color. The background makes you see more than one shade of gray here. You can see it if you cover the spaces above and below the bar. Can you tell which of the surfaces is darker? Is it A or B? Surface A only seems obviously darker. In reality, they're exactly the same color. Cover the middle of the drawing with your hand to check it. Scientists still can't explain this illusion. One theory says this might be because of how your brain interprets the signals from the photoreceptors in your eyes. The most active cells reduce the activity in neighboring ones, and this creates a contrast that's not in fact real. Now, find the darkest square in this picture. Whichever square you chose, you can't be right. They're all the same color, just set against different backgrounds. Moving on, do you pick white or black pieces? I'll let you choose. Well, you can't pick black or white here because the pieces are all the same color. The background and the way you perceive light explains this illusion. How many colors do you see here? I clearly see 4. It's actually 2. Red and green, one shade of each. You get the illusion there are different colors here because some of them are surrounded by white and some by green boxes. By the way, white isn't a color in scientific terms. It's the presence of all colors. That's why we don't count it as one. Here's another one for you. Which side is darker? Nope, it's not the right side. It's one shade of red that seems darker on the right because of the black background. Oh no, this table is tilting to the right and about to turn over. Or is it? No worries, it's perfectly stable. The slanted lines create this tilting effect. Both rectangles are parallel. You can check it with a ruler. How many faults do you see in this square? The correct answer is 0. This square by Walter Ehrenstein is perfect. It seems curved because it's placed inside a pattern of concentric circles. Would you prefer a rectangular or square table? No matter which one you chose, just take any. They're of exactly the same shape and size. Here's a classic Ponzo illusion. Which of the green lines is longer? It's the one in the foreground. Just kidding, they're the same length. This illusion works because your brain interprets the image with perspective, and it's just a simple 2D image. How about a ride? Do you think this Ferris wheel is moving clockwise or counterclockwise? Sorry guys, the ride is closed today. Any movement you see here is just an illusion. Here's an easy one for you. Try to quickly say the color of these words. Hey, it takes forever to focus on the colors without reading them. The right half of your brain is trying to name the colors, and the left half is trying to make you say the words. This is known as the Stroop effect, and it's used as a test for jobs where concentration is a must. Can you count all the gray dots at the intersections in this grid? The correct answer is 0. This is a Hermann grid illusion. Your brain makes you think they are gray dots at the intersections because of the dark surroundings. If you look closer, all the dots are gone. Another good old classic, Necker cube. This was discovered in the 19th century. Do you think the blue wall is in the block or on the block? Is it the back wall or the side wall? There's no correct answer, so keep guessing. Is this just a set of some geometrical shapes, or does it have a secret message? Eureka! That's the correct answer. Are you up for a helicopter ride? Pick the one with a longer line on top. It's impossible. They're equal in length, and the surroundings make you believe otherwise. Time for some magic. You can turn this negative photo into a full-color image with the power of your brain. Stare at the dots at the center of the girl's face for about 30 seconds. Now, quickly turn your eyes to the center X of the white image on the right of the woman's face. Blink several times. Do you see the image of a girl in full color? If not, try staring at the negative image a bit longer, or sit closer or further from your computer monitor. This illusion works when your rods and cones get overstimulated. The cells viewing the darkest part of the image are least affected by this. When you look away, they react the strongest, and you can see the reverse of the original image. Some optical illusions with a double meaning can tell a lot about your personality. What do you see here? If it's a profile of a man to you, you're pretty realistic and take things for what they are. You trust others and easily rely on them at work and in your personal life. You mix with new people easily. If you notice the word liar, you always look for a hidden subtext in everything. It's not easy for you to trust others. Even when things are going just fine, you're always looking for some surprises coming your way. How many pandas do you see in this image? If it's just 2, you're an ambitious person focused on your goals. When you have a plan, nothing can take you off your course. You're direct and always say what you really think. If you saw 5 pandas or more, you're a really creative person. You always see the little things others might not notice. You get inspiration when you least expect it, even from basic everyday events. What does this one look like to you? If you see a huge eye on the ground, you're a settled person who's pretty content with their life. You have your home, job, and favorite places, and wouldn't give up this comfort for some unknown path. If you see a landscape with some deep green abyss or a volcano crater, you long for adventures. You can't wait to explore the world, and your biggest fear is settling down and not getting the chance to travel. Time for the next illusion. Those who see a face of a young girl here are pretty emotional and sentimental people. You miss someone or something that made you really happy and still can't let go. Try to accept the best is yet to come into your life. Those who see a young man staring at a landscape here are at the crossroads of their lives. You realize you need some changes to be happier, but you don't know what to start with. All roads are open to you. Just take that first step. Here's a really tricky one. If it looks like a landscape with a horseman to you, you're more extroverted than introverted. You enjoy your alone times, but mostly need the company of others to share with. You're fun, easygoing, and a great team player. If you see a wolf here, you must be more introverted than extroverted. You feel comfortable in your own company and aren't afraid to listen to yourself. You aren't afraid of responsibility and prefer to get all the credits for what you've done.
This fresh set of optical illusions will definitely challenge your visual perception. If your brain isn't happy when you look at things that spin and flash, be careful and get somebody to watch this astonishing illusionary art with you. Ready? Go full screen and let's get started. Take a look at this pair of circles. It's not an illusion. They're identical, and they do rotate. But they don't actually move across the screen. The arrows confuse your brain, so it seems that the circles are shrinking and even moving back and forth. If you manage to focus your gaze so that they stop moving, you're a wizard. What about this shining star? Is it static or dynamic? Although the star seems to be pulsing, its size doesn't change at all, but its popping color creates an illusion of movement. Let's move on to our next one. Check this out. Can you spot any movement? This picture is static, but if you take your time to look at these flowers carefully, your brain will definitely convince you that they're moving. What about this picture? The direction of this pattern makes the brain think that the circle is rotating to the left, but it's a lie. The same goes for this cute pattern. Can you see it spinning around? What about this picture? Can you spot any movement? Well, in this case, it's not surprising because this image is animated. An optical illusion is not always an optical illusion, so be careful. Let's take a look at the next one. This star seems to be dancing because its asymmetrical shape confuses your brain's expectations. Maybe it's time to ask ourselves, what else is my brain lying to me about right now? What can you say about this beautiful pattern? Is it just a basic optical illusion or an animated video? That's right, it's an animation. Here's our next one. If you focus all your attention on the middle of this picture, it will soon begin to move. But in fact, it stays the same. Don't let your brain play tricks on you. Your perception of this image may change if you blink a bunch of times and shake your head. Moving on, take a look at this tricky pattern. Is this image static? Yes, it truly is. Some optical illusions work by fooling around with contrasts in our field of vision. These two circles consist of small rotating striped circles. They appear to change the direction of rotating thanks to how our brains deal with information immediately within our focus. It's different from the way it processes peripheral information. You can see it when you focus on one circle and then on another. Are you dizzy yet? Let's move on to the next one. Zigzag is a great tool to create a bunch of optical illusions that can make you feel like you're flying. But this particular zigzag pattern is animated. Is it? Nope, it's a static picture. Be careful with zigzags. The next optical illusion will make you see with your eyes closed. All you have to do is stare at this Marilyn Monroe's nose at the center of this portrait. Continue staring at the same spot for at least 7 seconds, and try not to blink. Ready? 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now take a look at your ceiling and blink a bunch of times. Close your eyes. Can you still see the portrait? Don't worry, it'll disappear in a few seconds. This optical illusion is called an after image. It appears after you've stared at an image for some time. Usually, it requires around 30 seconds. Then you close your eyes or look at a white piece of paper afterwards. Overstimulation makes the rods and cones in your eyes lose sensitivity. That's why for a short period afterward, you interpret colors as their paired primary color. Now, let's take a look at this tricky pattern. Is this image static or dynamic? It's not an optical illusion. This pattern is animated. If you managed to guess, great job! Now, let's take a look at this one. Do these spheres move across the screen? Nope, they don't. If you were careful enough, you noticed the top moving when you squinted and concentrated on the spheres. This optical illusion is static. But if you take your time and focus on the center of the screen, it will begin to rotate. Let's move on to our next one. This optical illusion will make you feel like a magician and level up your concentration skills. At this point, you probably see that the static circles begin to move, pop, and spin slightly. But which way? There's no right answer here. The largest circle probably spins to the left. But if you switch your focus to the center of the image, the same circle will begin to spin to the right. The movement will change depending on which layer of this image you're currently focusing on. Arrows inside these colorful circles may confuse your vision. Try not to look at them, and you'll notice that the circles inside this illusion aren't changing their shape or moving at all. It's pretty clear that this crazy watermelon isn't spinning, isn't it? Nope. If you screw up with your eyes, you can verify this by focusing your gaze on the sphere. See? It doesn't move anymore. This figure can begin to move like a snake, and the black points will begin to blink white. But don't let your brain fool you. This image is still the same. Are you dizzy yet? Let's experiment with disappearing dots. Focus on the central green dot. Try not to blink for a while. You will see one or more of the yellow dots disappearing and then reappearing randomly. Here's another illusion with disappearing dots. Thousands of people worldwide complained that this simple optical illusion had made them question reality. There are 12 black dots at the intersections of this image, but your brain won't let you see them all at once. Well, how many dots did you count? There are 12 black dots in this image, and it's a fact. But most people can't see all 12 dots at once. When you're focusing on that black dot in the center of your field of view, your visual system is automatically filling in what's going on around it. And this regular pattern of gray lines on a white background makes your brain suggest that there are no black dots at all. That's why you miss the intermittent black dots, or they disappear and reappear as your eye jitters around. This cute animation is also very tricky. It pictures a moon and 6 stars surrounding it. There's also a dotted circular layer moving in the background. Try not to move your head at all. If you manage to focus your eyes on the moon and stay perfectly still, you'll soon notice that the stars begin to disappear. How many of them did you make disappear? There's no one correct answer here. The number of disappeared stars depends on your perception. This tricky wheel can make your brain think that it rotates, but it's a lie. You may notice that the wheel changes the direction when you tilt your head to the right or to the left. This trick will make your hands melt like water. Don't worry, it's not forever. Keep staring at the center of the screen for 30 seconds. Try not to blink. Now, take a look at your hands. Are they melting? You can also look at some text and notice that your vision is wavy. Take a look at this tricky optical illusion. What can you say about this wheel? Is it static or dynamic? It's static. Your brain plays tricks on you. Now let's give your eyes a little break by changing the task. Can you spot an odd monkey out? Here it is. Can you find a different monster out? This guy in the right corner doesn't look as happy as the others. There are many zeros in here. Can you also see another hidden number? Here it is. Does this pattern consist of red apples only? Nope. Here's one tomato. Can you find two similar emojis among this variety? Here they are. What about this set of emojis? Can you see two identical emojis? Here they are. Take a look at these emojis. Are they all different? Nope. These two emojis are similar. How many emojis can you find among this variety? There are 3. What about this collection? Can you spot any identical emojis here? This task is tricky. All these emojis are different. If you manage to crack our trick, good job! Take a look at this set. Can you find a pair of identical emojis? Nope, it's impossible, because these two are similar. Does this cat crowd have any odd details? This guy over here is not a cat, it's a rabbit. Can you find a 4-leaf clover in here? Here it is. Lucky you.
Look at the dot in the center for 10 seconds. Three, 2, 1. Now quickly look at the ceiling and blink a few times. The colored squares have just moved there. What a beautiful pattern of rectangles. But just give it a second look and you'll see they are in fact circles floating against the striped background. Stare at the central dot for 10 seconds and see what happens. Wow, the colored circles switch places. In fact, they're both gray now, and your brain makes you see colors that aren't really there. This illusion can make your phone grow. Stare at it. Magic is happening. Keep staring. Now, quickly look at the back of your phone. The logo is moving. How many colors do you see in this image? If you answered 3, you're a bit wrong. There are just 2 colors here, black and white. The grid creates the illusion of gray as they intersect. What about this one? There are just 3 colors here, red, blue, and yellow. The inner squares only seem different because of the grids and backgrounds. This grid is broken, but you can fix it right now. Stare at the center of the grid for 15 seconds and see what happens. Told ya! It all looks in order now. This happens because your brain prefers to see regular patterns. It's spread from the center to the edges of the grid. This image is perfectly static. Just stare at one part of it. Yep, it isn't moving anymore. This is one example of peripheral drift illusions. Your brain lags a bit when it's processing areas with different light intensity and makes you think the image is animated. Can you tell if this one is moving or static? I give you 10 seconds to figure it out. Static again. Contrasting colors create the illusion of motion. How many animals do you see here? There are 8 of them hiding between the lines. If you saw 5 or more, you'll have the eye of an eagle. Can you tell which of these 2 yellow lines is longer? It seems obvious the answer is the higher line. In fact, they're absolutely the same length. Your brain gets distracted by other elements in the image, like background lines, and you see the image in a distorted way. What about these two lines? Which one is longer? Again, they're the same length. The way circles are set makes the upper line seem longer to you. How many colors are mentioned here? If you got 7, great job! Nothing can distract you. Can you find the mistake here? The number sequence is alright, but you don't need an extra "the." Let's go under the "C." Find 3 differences between these images in 10 seconds. Good job! Same task here. Did you spot them all? These images are different in 3 details. Can you name them? Fantastic! Oh, this looks delicious. Again, there are 3 differences between the images. Hope you found them all. These 2 images are different in 5 details. Try to name them in 10 seconds. Well done! Can you find 5 differences between these 2? Well, nothing can hide from you. Help these kittens find 8 hidden objects. Meow, thank you. This dog is made of many little things. Can you spot 13 of them? Amazing! The fall is a busy time for farmers. Make their life easier and find 20 hidden objects they need. Wow, you could be a detective! Did you find 20 objects in this image? Feel free to pause the video if you need more time. Great job! This time, you only have to find 12 hidden things, but it's trickier because of all those dots. You did it! Moving on. What you see in these optical illusions can tell a lot about your personality. What is this one to you? Those who clearly see the mountains covered with snow mostly have their feet on the ground. You take things the way they are, like to plan everything and move ahead step by step. If you spotted the horses first, you like to be ahead of everyone and live at full speed. You're rather impatient and get bored of tedious work that needs a lot of attention. Now, what catches your eye here? If it's a peaceful creek in the woods, you'll always see the big picture. You stay calm even when everyone around you is losing it. You always know how to choose the right option out of many quickly. If it's a grumpy face to you, you tend to overthink things and see a catch in every situation and offer. You don't make friends easily, but when you do, it's forever. Time for the next illusion. Those who see a face here, you have a bright mind and you like to keep it busy. You're good at solving tasks of any difficulty, and you come up with the best ideas. Those who see a beautiful lady in a dress in this one, you're artists at heart. You take inspiration almost from anything and anywhere. You write, paint, sing, or create music, and it makes you happy. This one's pretty plain. Or is it? If you see an owl landing, you're a great team player and easy to work with. You don't mind sharing credit for what you've done with others. Sometimes you're too afraid to speak up. Remember, your ideas are worth it. If it's a girl looking in the distance to you, you have amazing communication skills. You feel comfortable even in front of the crowd and like to share everything about your life on social media. How about this one? If it's a waterfall to you, you love travel and explore new places. You aren't afraid of anything except for boredom. You always say yes to new adventures and places. If you see a young couple here, you're a true romantic. You believe that love always wins. Even when someone's mean to you, you forgive them easily and try to find an explanation for what they did. What are your thoughts on this image? If it's a person standing alone on a rock to you, you're mostly an introvert. You need your alone time to bring your thoughts in order and recharge. You don't have many friends, but you're loyal to them. If it's a face of a girl to you, you often live in the world of your dreams. You always try to improve your life and sometimes forget to see the good in everyday life. Try seizing the day every once in a while. What does this one look like to you? If it's a pattern of trees, you aren't afraid to tell the truth, no matter what it is. You have a point on anything, and it's not easy to make you change your mind. Sometimes it's okay to ask others for advice and follow it. If you see a girl with her back to you, you're afraid to hurt the feelings of others. You try to avoid conflict by all means, and sometimes agree with others just to make them feel better. What animal do you see first in this curious pattern? If the giraffe is the first animal you saw, you're funny, influential, and charismatic. Like me. You're spontaneous and always full of energy. That's why you have plenty of friends. You can convince anyone of anything. Use this talent wisely. If you spotted the cat first, you don't like talking a lot and prefer to watch from a distance and analyze what you see. You're independent and self-sufficient, so you make your own rules and follow them. If you saw the duck first, you are a 100% optimist. You enjoy every moment and enjoy looking on the bright side of life. You enjoy exploring new places, learning new skills, and your curiosity has absolutely no limits. If the elephant has caught your eye first, you are loyal and genuine. You care deeply about everything and everyone around you. Your family and friends know they can always ask you for help, and you'll solve any problem. In case you notice the bear first, you're logical and conservative. You have your own values, and you like to live by the rules. You're thoughtful and observant and aim for harmony. Those who paid attention to the rabbit, you're full of energy and spread joy like no other person. You've a great sense of humor and rich imagination. You like to share that happiness with others and easily become the soul of any party. In case the lion was the first animal you saw, you're a leader by nature. You like setting goals and achieving them, no matter how hard it gets. People gladly follow you because you're always 100% positive of your success. And if you saw an octopus, an optometrist is in your future because there's no octopus there. Time for an eye test. Just joking with you. You'll have 5 seconds for each. Let's go! What comes to your mind when you look at this picture? If you noticed one big tiger first, you're pretty happy with your life right now and wake up with a smile. You like your job and have some great friends and a loving family. You don't want to change anything and just enjoy every day. In case you spotted a landscape with a tree and a little tiger first, you've had some problems in the past that you've managed to solve. But now you're cautious about everything and can't let yourself run around carefree. How about this one? If you saw a beautiful golden landscape with some waterfalls, you probably feel a bit bored at the moment. Everything seems to be fine, but you're missing some bright emotions and adventures. Start with the little things, cook a new meal, or buy some clothes you'd never wear before. If you saw a young girl here first, looks like you've been a bit overwhelmed lately. You're trying to be one step ahead of everyone else at work with your hobbies and personal life. It's okay to give yourself a break and just live your life at your own pace sometimes. In case the animals hiding in the landscape have caught your eye, you're pretty happy with everything in your life, but your mind often wanders somewhere else. You run different scenarios in your head of you living a different life that could be even better. Try doing one of the things you've been dreaming about for so long. Moving on, what does this one look like to you? If it's definitely a guitar, you're someone who likes to have a good laugh. Your positive energy spreads onto others easily. That's why you're the heart of any party. You mix with new people well and have like a billion friends. If you're positive it's a landscape with trees reflected in the water, you feel cautious about letting new people too close to you. You might seem reserved at first, but when you're ready to accept those new people into your life, you build strong bonds and will never let them down. How about this one? Those who see a huge yellow-eyed fish here respect the rules and feel uncomfortable breaking any of them. You prefer to stay out of trouble, so you'd never try anything unconventional. You follow the majority, and if something goes wrong, you're relieved to share the fault with everyone else. If you're one of those people who see a huge ship in this image, you never follow the crowd, even if it's going the right way. You're a rebel at heart, and you believe rules are meant to be broken. You like to take a chance and often win. Next, is this one all plain to you, or do you see the double meaning? Those who see a bunch of sheep and a wolf here adapt to changes in life easily. You accept the fact that nothing lasts forever and always look on the bright side to find the positive in everything. This helps you move on and save your energy for more important things than worries. Those who see a big wolf and a little wolf find it uneasy letting go of people, places, and situations. You don't like change, it confuses you. Even if things aren't perfect, you'd rather leave them the way they are because you're used to them. Sometimes you just have to let things go their own way. It'll save you a lot of nerves. How about this one? If you see a polar bear here, you're an emotionally stable person. You know you can't plan everything in life, so you accept its surprises and find joy in them. You know you won't make fun memories if you stay on a perfectly smooth road. If you clearly see a hand in this image, you love to plan everything in your life. You can't stand it when something doesn't go as you expected it to. You always think of all the possible outcomes before taking even the smallest decision, like what to buy for dinner. Try being more spontaneous. You might like it. Now, taking it one level up, can you see the hidden meaning here? If this one looks like a lake and some swans to you, you're a realist who's mostly in a good mood. You don't expect too much from anything or anyone. You're kind and forgiving and can explain and accept any behavior. It helps you protect yourself from disappointments. If you saw a band playing in the mountains, you're more comfortable in the world of your own dreams than in reality. You have your vision of how things should work out, and you feel sad when other people aren't as brave, nice, and caring as you expect them to. Try taking it easier on them. How about this one? If the first thing you saw here was a vase, you don't like to stay in the spotlight. You're a talented and creative person, but you're a bit shy and don't like it when other people are staring at you. That's why you prefer to express yourself through writing, drawing, or similar arts that don't take you directly on stage. If you clearly saw two profiles in this one, you love attention so much you make a little show out of everything. You can make a loud joke or start singing as you go grocery shopping. You have plenty of energy, and the only way to let it all out is to get on stage and get all the eyes looking at you. This one looks pretty abstract. What do you think about it? Those who are sure it's an old man are really good at saving money. You plan your budget and never buy things you didn't plan to. You know your priorities well, and you don't feel like you're depriving yourself of anything. Saving makes you happy. Those who spotted a horse in this image are trying to stick to a budget, but it doesn't always work out. You could be saving for a new car for a couple of months and then spend it all on the shoes of your dreams. What really matters is that it makes you happy, so don't worry too much about it. Moving on, what can you say about this drawing? If you saw an old man's profile here first, you believe that you can achieve anything in life if you give it your all. You're patient and stubborn in a good way. You set goals and fulfill them one by one on the way to your dream. You prefer to call it plans, not dreams. If you saw a man on a horse, a river, and a figure on the ground, you believe in destiny. You think lots of things are just meant to be. You aren't lazy or anything, but you're sure sometimes success is just a matter of luck. When you have an uneasy choice to make, you prefer to wait it out and let the problem solve itself. Next, please. This one feels so cold. What do you see here? If it looks like a snowy mountain to you, comfort is your priority. Your home means the world to you, and you don't like to move from place to place. You can't focus on anything or get details done in a mess. You're ready to spend money and effort on nice little details. In case you saw a huge face first, and no, it's not me, you prefer to invest in memories and emotions. You'd love to sleep under the stars as long as it takes you to a new place with people you love. You don't buy too many things because they make moving problematic. All you really need fits in one backpack, and you're happy it's so. What comes to your mind when you look at this image? If it's definitely a zebra to you, you enjoy arranging surprises for your loved ones. You prefer giving to receiving, and you'd go to the end of the world to make your family and friends happy. Their happiness is the best feedback to you. If you see some trees here, looks like you prefer getting gifts to giving them to others. You never show it even if you aren't 100% happy with the gift, and it makes people feel like they know you so well and they made your day. So, you're doing a good thing your way. That's it for today. So hey, if you pacified your curiosity, then give the video a like and share it with your friends. Or if you want more, just click on these videos and stay on the bright side.